What are we listening to today?
The Immigrant Project by Girish and Aastha.
Hey everyone, good morning and welcome to another episode of the Immigrant Project. I say good morning is because we have our guest Ramiz Essani. He's a digital marketing professional and he works full time at York University. And this is Saturday morning, and we have called him early morning from North York to record an episode with us. Welcome on the show.
Thank you, Girish.
Ramiz.
Thanks for having me, and it's a very exciting project, and happy to be here.
So tell us about your journey. Let's get right into it. You said you came to Canada about 2 years,
That's
two
right.
years back. So how has your journey been thus far?
Okay, so I came in April of 2023, almost 2 years now, and the journey has been great. Unlike all the immigrants, all the things that we hear and see, especially from students. So I came as a student, but the journey has been great so far. Has have learned a lot of things, a lot of skills, met a lot of amazing people. Explored a lot of opportunities, worked for amazing places. So to be honest, no complaints so far. And this, just it keeps you. Canada keeps you on your toes. You keep,
So true.
learning new things every day. So I'm really thankful for everything, and no complaints so far.
Ramesh, I want to ask you a question about networking, but before that, you mentioned that you came here as a student, and I know we didn't discuss this previously, but there was a report that came out just last week saying that immigrant students who come to Canada and study here, they don't get the best jobs as compared to people who are born here. So, do you share their opinion, or have you felt that way?
I would say it's not like 100% true.
Hmm.
It's mostly because of the working restriction that a student has. Like they cannot work off campus,
Ah,
because of that.
yeah.
So a lot of opportunity. Let's say I was in marketing. I did 6 years of marketing, and I was looking at opportunities. But most of them were full time, and I, as a student off campus, I could just work 20 hours. So only in that regard, it's a little restricted. Other than that, people obviously it's their choice. It's how you do the efforts and make sure to get the right opportunity. As I did in like 53 days of landing, I got it, and I never did like any odd jobs or stuff because I knew that if I do the right things, I network properly, so I can get the right opportunity.
Wow. Oh, all right. Let's get into the thick of things. When students come to Canada, they expect, to find work in their field, even if it's a part-time work, just to have a foot in the door. And you said that you didn't work any odd jobs at all, anything that is outside your industry. So how did you go about finding the first job that you had?
Okay.
Talk to us about the process of networking, reaching out to
Mm.
people, applying for jobs, everything
Sure.
that comes to mind.
So everything starts how you think, right? How you approach things. So when I was about to come here, I had the confidence and I knew that I have the experience. So if I do the right things, I can, get the right job and not work at Tim Hortons or anywhere else.
Hmm.
But I was also flexible. Like if it doesn't work out, always be flexible. So I started everything like almost 1 or 2 months ago before I was gonna come here. I started, reaching out to people. I saw some mutual connections who were already in Canada, saw some good organizations, targeted them, and saw that okay, here these are the organizations where I have a few mutual connections. So there's a good way to reach them out, ask for some guidance, advice if there's anything that they can do. So that's what I did for one of the very popular museums here. It's called the Aga Khan Museum.
Mhm.
That was my first job. So I reached out to the recruiter like back in Pakistan, and like she didn't reply. That's a very normal thing. But when I came, I followed up, which is again a very important skill to have. I followed up, and then again she didn't reply. Then
Oh,
what
wow.
happened is we had a few other mutual connections who also knew that I was also looking for a job. They told her that this person we know him, and he's looking for a job. And then she recalled, oh yeah, I think he reached out. And then she replied that okay, you're doing the right networking. Everybody's talking to me about you, so give me a call on this number. And we talked, and I got an interview. In 2 weeks when I came here. So
Wow.
that was the first interview, but that didn't work out in the first place because again they were hiring for a full time marketing role. So, but
Oh.
that was my chance to get in at least. And through that, the recruiter knew that, okay, this person knows, some stuff. And after that interview, like almost 2, 3 weeks, they were hiring for another role, which was part time, fortunately. And then I interviewed for that, displayed all my skills, did some, good work, and just gave a good interview and got the job.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
quite a story, Ramesh.
Yeah.
So, do you think it's essential to follow up, of course, and why do you think people fail at this? Because you said that, it's very important. I
Absolutely.
followed up. I reached out to her while I was in Pakistan. She didn't respond. Then I came here and I again reached out. She didn't respond.
Yeah.
So, following up, is it that important? Because
It is really important.
some people, might feel shy.
Absolutely. Most of the people feel shy. Everybody's like, oh, what will they think? Or they will judge me, or I feel shy, or I think it's not professional. It is not, unprofessional, to be honest. I have had recruiters and, high level people, appreciating me always when I followed up and saying that, that's a very good skill. And few jobs I've literally got, or few interviews I've got because I followed up. So I think it's never a bad skill, especially, when you're in professions like, let's say sales, or where you have to speak, or you have to be a little outgoing, maybe marketing as well. So I never felt shy. I followed up because there's no harm in following up, because they've told you technically they have not, they didn't say no, or maybe they said that, okay, wait for a while. So we're just following up. So I don't think there should be an issue. I know people feel shy, but honestly, I've got really good feedback that, you followed up, that it's a very good thing. And I would say never, feel shy.
Wow, I've never heard anyone say that, people tell you that I'm glad that you followed
Yeah.
up. How that shows proactiveness.
Absolutely. Like recruiters from top recruiting firms have told me that. So then I knew that, okay, I'm not doing anything wrong.
Hmm.
And it's always good to follow up, and you just keep track and stuff. And it also tells you, like, you want that, you
Hmm.
want that thing. So they see your, enthusiasm, they see your, drive towards that thing. So
Hmm.
I don't think it's a bad thing.
Rami's, my experience says that a lot of people who graduate struggle to find a job, especially immigrants. But you are an anomaly. You found a job even before you graduated.
Yeah.
So how did that happen?
Yeah. So as I mentioned, my first job was at Aha Museum, and then after that, I worked for Humber College while I was studying at York, and then this job where I'm currently at, it is at York University and it's full time. So I found
Hmm.
this when I was a student. So the biggest opportunity was that it was on campus for me, so there was no restriction. And during those, like, I would say this first start year, like 1 year when I came, I networked a lot within my school, like within my faculty, and almost everybody knew me because of LinkedIn, because of coffee chats, because of all of that. And then I saw an opportunity within my school. And that was very similar to the work that I was doing at Humber College. So that
Okay.
was again like a very administrative role, not a very marketing role. But when I saw that it is at my school, it can be, full time, and then in the future I can also transition internally. And then I also had a network, so I said, okay, let's apply, and then let's reach out to a few people. And I fortunately found the hiring manager and the director of the same unit. We did like some coffee chat. I explained her that, I'm already a student, I understand the ins and outs, my role is very similar to Humber. So they were really impressed, and they said, okay, you would give us a very good perspective because you're already a student. And then they, talked to the manager and got the interview, and I just cracked the interview, and I started full time even before I graduated.
Wow, and you're still continuing.
I'm still in that job. Yeah, that's a non-marketing role, but has a lot to, offer. Education industry at this point, it's not doing the best in terms of business and enrollments because of all the recent updates.
Hmm.
But I still see a lot of, good growth in education. It's a very good and a fulfilling, feeling when you work for education, when you are around students. So yeah, it's been a great experience so far.
Now, Ramis, can you talk about the practical, steps or tips probably one can implement to stand out like you did for this job role
For
for our
sure.
audience?
For sure. Yeah. So, like, two things: personal branding and networking. So personal branding is when first you develop everything, like on your, let's say your LinkedIn profile is the best thing to do. So you develop everything over there, you keep posting, you put everything over there. So it's like literally your headline, your picture, your cover image, everything matters. It's like a complete pack. It's a website. You can say like
Hmm.
that. So once you create that website, you understand that, okay, there is something that you have done and you have put everything over there. Like, for example, I created a video resume that
Yeah.
really stood out. So in one of my job interviews, the recruiter said that, oh, that was really impressive, and I got that job.
Oh, wow.
So those kind of things, and then posting consistently, having some good engagement, talking at different, podcasts, for example, like this. So sharing everything, guiding people, not just for yourself, but also for the community. So that also develops a goodwill of yourself, just like a brand, right?
So personal branding is
Personal
very
branding.
important.
Absolutely. So once you do all of that,
Yeah.
once everything is creative, and then you reach out to people and they open your profile, so they see that, okay, this person has some experience, does some good
He
stuff.
means business.
Yes, exactly. So both things go hand in hand. And then, yeah, when you reach out again, try to connect on a personal level, not just like a very random chat GPT template message, but
Hmm.
also try to connect with them on a similar ground, work on some conversation starters, those kind of things. So as far as you go in networking, there are a lot of things, but I think both of these things go hand in hand, because I've seen people reaching out, but their LinkedIn profile is empty. There's nothing on that.
Oh.
And the other way around. And they
Yeah.
have everything, but they're not reaching out. So I think both of the things are, go hand in hand. Just like any marketing for any brand. You develop a website and then you run the campaigns so that you drive traffic. And when you drive traffic, they see that, okay, everything is there, and then they take the action.
So network, build your LinkedIn profile, keep it updated, and work on your personal branding.
Absolutely.
Ramiz, I want to pivot the conversation to a different direction, but I have a last question for this section.
Yeah.
And this applies to a lot of international students, especially students who have just graduated from their hometowns and planning to move to Canada. You said that try to post a lot of content on LinkedIn, but these people, they are not subject matter experts, they are not thought leaders. So what suggestions would you have for these guys to try to keep their LinkedIn updated so that they are they are always constantly on top in the eyes of recruiters?
Absolutely, yeah. I get this question a lot, like from a lot of friends, a lot of people, who message me on LinkedIn. So the first thing is understanding that why you are doing it, not just doing it because people just say that, okay, you have to post on LinkedIn, then you will get a job. So they just start posting anything. ChatGPT give me 5 posts for the next week, and they just start doing it. So number one thing is understanding what you're doing, right? So again, I'm also not a subject matter expert, so it's not necessary that you're an expert, or maybe like you were a content creator or influencer. It could be anything. It could be your experience about anything. It could be any of your achievement. It could be any of your work. Let's say you are a graphic designer and you created a post for a client, and if there's no problem in sharing that, you can share that. Similarly, you can talk about any campaign that you saw, like any billboard that you saw. You just click. I did that as well. So took a picture of a billboard and I just posted it and tagged the company. The people on those company appreciated me in the comments and also reposted that. Through that, also, your profile grows. So it's just like collaboration as we do in influencer marketing. So you can do anything like that. So there is no fixed thing to do or no fixed, guideline that what it should be. It could, differ from individual to individual. Could be any experience, could be any advice, could be anything that could increase engagement, could be your work, could be your achievement, could be anything. So just be open about it and see how different you are. Anything that that could be your USP. Talk about that. And sometimes things won't work out. There won't be engagement, but the thing is consistency.
Learn from those
Absolutely.
posts, yeah.
Yes. And your posts will tell you, your engagement will tell you. So you have to do everything according. Like obviously, if you have like just 15 connections and on your LinkedIn you're posting,
Yes, of
you won't
course.
get that. So you will have to also work on getting new connections, getting new followers, posting and maybe sharing some stuff with them, those kind of things. So all those things work together. But if you do it consistently, you will learn that, okay, what's working and what's not working.
So again, no one size fits all strategy for everything. Whatever piques your interest, share with your network.
Absolutely.
Anything. It can be a simple billboard. I once saw, I don't know when it was, on your profile, you met someone for a coffee chat and then you wrote a post about it.
Exactly.
So again, it had nothing to do with subject matter
Yeah.
expertise.
Yeah. And me too. Like I am a digital marketing professional, but I think I just talk 5 or 10% about it. 90% is about my experience in Canada, or how networking helps, or how you can build a personal brand, or how can you follow up, those kind of things. It's literally my daily life experience. It's nothing else.
That's insightful.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Ramiz, what about challenges? 2 years it's been. Have you faced any? It could be any challenge: housing, education, finding jobs, of course, is a very big challenge.
Yeah.
For all of us. But anything that you want to talk, share, and probably offer some solutions, some insights on how did you overcome those challenges?
Yeah, so challenges, like very normal challenges as every immigrant faces, the weather, housing crisis, job, all of that. So that's all true. But what I did differently, did not make me feel very, challenged or very, in trouble, was that I was very much mentally prepared since like 4 months when I came here. What I've seen is students, they get their visa like at the right time and they just flew, and they come and they have no idea about it. They've heard good things from consultants, from other influencers, that, oh, Canada is a great place, you just come here, everything is sorted, dollars coming in, all of that. But I think you should definitely be aware of the reality. And there's no harm in accepting, and it's a place where you grow. Everybody's heard that it's a place of opportunity. It's very diverse, very immigrant friendly, that I could say. So the challenges are always there. I had all those similar challenges, but because I was mentally prepared, I think that gave me a very good way of tackling those challenges. And then the second thing would be, sometimes you get lonely, you don't have people around you. So again, everything ties back to networking. Now, networking should not just be about jobs. It could be friendships, it could be meetups, it could be anything. It could be people in your building. So be around people, be around good people. because you become, who you surround yourself with. So
Hmm.
just have good people around yourself who give you, good motivation. You spend time with them, you learn with them. So that would be my advice. But yeah, just be mentally prepared. That's the number one thing.
Wow. And how do you go about making friends in the country?
Yeah.
Because
So
I've struggled.
yeah, I can understand, definitely. So let's say if you're a student, so the perfect and safest place is your classroom. Number one
Hmm.
thing. So that's really easy. That's one thing. The second could be, within your community. Like let's say, like I go to prayers for every day almost. So in my community, in my place of worship, I
Oh,
see a lot
wow.
of people. So if you're a person who goes to, places of worship, mosques, temples, churches, anywhere, that could be one another, good thing. Third could be there are some platforms and some meetup groups. Like I'll give you an example of 10,000 coffees. That's usually so at York, every student gets access to that, and you get matched with anybody. It could be an alumni from York, could be somebody from the same school.
Oh,
So there
wow.
you can start a conversation. So that's one thing. And then there's LinkedIn. Then there are some good, amazing meetup groups and networking groups. So
Yeah.
one of them I'm part of is called Market Your Health. So it's a very non-alcoholic, thing where everybody gathers. There are different activities, free of charge. You're, exploring stuff, doing different things. So there is a lot to do, but you need to, connect with the right people to know about those opportunities. And you should be good at research as well. So, you search everywhere. You see there are so many free networking events happening as well. So those could be, the starters. So see, there's a long list. So it depends if you want to do it and how you want to do it.
And Ramesh, did you face any challenges while finding housing as a student?
I still am.
Classes?
I
It's
still am.
still, oh no.
So see, it happens. I now, because now it's been 2 years, so now I understand that any immigrant who comes here, it takes a few years for them to settle like completely until you are a PR, until you have your own house or a car. So I'll tell you my story. So
Yeah.
I've moved 4 times
Oh
since I
no.
came here.
In 2 years.
Yes. So I lived with my uncle when I came here. Then I got my first place, which I later realized that it's a 18-minute walk to the bus stop, which is really hard in the winters.
Oh
So
no.
then I moved for a place that was just available for 1 year. So I moved again in January. And just like 2 days ago, I got to know that the place that I'm currently living in, the owner, like the person who leased on us, like he's moving in himself. So he
Oh,
wants to,
so it
end
was a
end everything.
sublet.
Yeah, kind of. And then I have to vacate it again. So that is a pain. It will be.
Oh
It is
no.
difficult. And then especially sometimes when you're very specific, like let's say when you don't drive, you really want something near the bus stop, right?
Yeah.
So sometimes it's there are challenges when you search on marketplace or Kijiji, and most of the ad says females preferred,
Hmm.
vegetarian preferred. So then where do I go?
Oh,
So
so
those
it's
kind
a
of
bit.
things happen. I know, but it's part of the process. But sometimes it's frustrating.
It's not impossible, but it becomes
Yes,
frustrating after that.
exactly.
And how often credit score has played a role in you not getting a place?
I have never seen my credit score, and nobody has asked for it
Nobody
yet.
has asked for your credit
Nobody.
score.
It's usually when you do the entire 1 year lease. So I have never done. I have always been on month to month.
Man, okay.
Yeah. So I've not never gone into any lease or any contract. So nobody has asked me yet. And then one or two of the places were through a person I knew.
Hmm.
So they trusted me already. So they've
Oh,
never asked for it.
so again, network works
Yes,
here.
exactly. Networking works in anything. Literally, good point. I got one place from where I could see the entire downtown skyline, east and west, both highways, sunset, sunrise. Amazing place. I lived there 1 year. Got through networking.
And it was in your own place, or of course,
Yeah,
sublet from
like subway. Like I was just renting a room over there, but it was more than enough for me. Amazing view. And because I knew an auntie who knew another auntie, and she said, "Okay, I have a place for 1 year, so if you want, you can come in." So I lived there.
Oh,
Yeah.
all right. Okay, what is that one thing that you love about Canada, and what is it what one thing is it that you would want to change?
Tough question. A really tough question. One thing that I love is, I'd say I've never faced anything such as racism or discrimination. So it's very immigrant friendly.
Hmm.
Everybody is welcomed. I know there are those kind of things, but maybe on the higher level, I have never faced that. So I think that's the
Hmm.
number one thing that I really like. What I dislike, it's a
Or
tough question.
you want to change? You want to change about the
Hmm,
process?
I want to
Anything?
change about, yeah. What are the things?
Is it the IRCC processing
Oh yeah,
timelines?
good point. Yeah, definitely. So immigration system, sometimes it seems like it's unfair. Sometimes you see that you did all the right things, but it's just the timing that didn't work out, or you did everything and then that update came on the last day.
Oh
So
man.
that is frustrating. But honestly, fortunately, any of the updates haven't impacted me.
Oh, wow.
So, but I have very close people who have been impacted by those updates and stuff. So I think sometimes it's unfair. Sometimes it's really challenging for new immigrants and all. So maybe a better policy or better process of doing all of that.
Right. We have time for last two questions. Ramiz, let me just throw those questions at you, and you
Sure.
can feel free to answer in whatever step you want to.
Mhm.
So the first question is, what advice would you have for people? I know the number has decreased now and will decrease,
Yes.
but what advice do you have for people who are planning to come to this country or potentially are thinking? That is one.
Mhm.
And our second question is, which is something that we ask most of our guests, is what next for you? What next in the next 5 years, 10 years? What plans do you have for yourself in the country?
Okay, perfect. So the first thing would be like, what advice do I have? So I'll say two things specifically. The one thing that I also mentioned in like our previous conversation, like being mentally prepared when you come here.
Mm.
So you have to know. Like I honestly, one of my friends, he just did two of his programs and he got the work permit. And now I said, what's the plan for PR? So he said, my consultant told me that once you get the work permit, you will get the PR card in your mail. He said that to me. So they literally don't know, like especially students, because I've been around all those students. Most of the students, I would say 80 or 90% are the ones who do their undergraduate and just come directly to Canada. No experience, no work experience. So that work experience is not for points. That's actually how you deal with situations, how you deal with stress. In offices, back in our countries, there is a lot of politics. There's a lot of stuff happening within the offices. That teaches you a lot of things,
Yeah.
which helps you over here, which helped me. I worked for toxic environments. I've been through a lot of stress, politics, and stuff, but that really helps. So I would say spend some time, and that also helps you for your PR application, right? Your foreign work experience.
Yeah.
Now the students who did everything have zero foreign experience, so they won't get the points, enough points, like as of today, if we speak. So I would say,
Do your
spend some time,
research. Yeah.
have some experience, and also be mentally prepared that what's the scenario over there, how it's entirely going to work. So that would be the number one thing. The number second thing that I almost talk about every single time is, networking and personal branding. So invest in your personal brand. In Canada, what I have seen is, it's not what you know, it's who you know. It really helps. It honestly helps from getting you interviews to getting you, let's say, if you are a business owner or a freelancer, you can get some good leads if you know people. You can do anything and everything if you have a good network. So these would be the two things that I would highly advise and would recommend to any new immigrant. The second question was, what's next?
What's
Okay.
next for you? Yeah.
For me, what's next is, because I completed all the studies, got the work permit. So now this role, it's a non-marketing role. So I want to switch back to my full-time marketing career, which I am, trying every day. See, now I am doing everything, and still sometimes it doesn't work out because there is a luck factor. No
Yeah.
matter what you do, and then on the other side, people will do zero networking and get the job they
Yeah,
want.
that's true.
So yeah, so I know sometimes it's disheartening. I also get disappointed a lot of times, but I think be open for that, and I am being open for that. Exploring different opportunities. I want to establish a good marketing career for myself in Canada. I plan to stay here, bring family here as well. Make Canada my home, get the citizenship, travel, all of that. So yeah, that would be next for me.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a great answer,
Mhm.
and we loved your insights. I'm sure
Yeah.
listeners would have loved your insights as well.
Yeah.
Well, Ramesh, with that, we have reached the end of the episode.
Mhm.
Thank you so much for being our guest today, and thank you so much for coming down for the recording on Saturday morning.
Yeah, no problem. Pleasure to be here.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.